as you can see from the beautiful horse boxes behind me, and we've also got a couple of either side as well to show you later, we're at the Equine quality stand looking at some of these fantastic horse boxes. I'm delighted that Candice, business owner of Equine Quality, has taken the time out to speak for us and introduce us to some of her models and some of the fantastic boxes she's got available for sale. Candice, thank you obviously for having us. Thank you for taking the time with your dad. I know you're busy competing. But before we go into sort of looking at the specifics of these horse boxes, can you give us a little bit more info about sort of how you got into building horse boxes and sort of what's inspiring these designs?
I fell into horse box building actually. I wanted a very good built horse box for myself that had things where I wanted it very good and strong for the horses, but I couldn't find anything that's sort of affordable in what I wanted exactly.
Yeah.
So I went around to all the builders in the country, got under the chassis, had a look, and found somebody that I really liked, and I gave them my design and got them to build it for me. And as soon as I got it, somebody bought it off me. So I then went and did another one and improved it, and again, same thing happened, got it home, somebody bought it off me. So I ended up setting up EQ. The key for me is I want a good, spacious, strong place for the horses, and then as much storage as possible, and then everything to be as easy as possible for accessing and to be as comfortable as well. In my life, I've groomed, I've driven, I've lived and stayed in amazing places, and I've had young horses, old horses, I've got huge horses. So it's really important that the horses feel safe and travel well. Most people that deal with horse boxes don't ride, they don't have horses. I do all of those things, and that's really, I think, the thought that goes into our EQ horse boxes is quite incredible. You know, the attention to detail is second to none.
So you don't understand just the horse boxes and what the quality should look like, you understand the people that are going to be using them and the horses that are going to ultimately be using them more than anything else.
Yes, definitely. And I mean, there are different, you know, whether you've got show jumping, eventing, dressage, showing, endurance, polo, there's different needs for different markets, but we will build to different people's specifications and produce a box that people really want, that suits them.
Designs to suit the owner, but quality horse boxes to suit all.
Yep. So we always guide as well with the strength of the flooring, for example. We our steel crossbars are much closer together. We use a much stronger, higher profile aluminium planked flooring. I've seen a lot of boxes that have come in as trade-ins and they're all bent and loose, and things like that are really, really important. And the secondary steel frame on the side where the horse's bums go, you know, if you have a horse double barrel kicking, you want it to stay. Yes.
Don't want it to become in the middle of the M25.
Exactly. I mean, at the end of the day, horses are big, you know, they're not far off a ton, and if they want to go wild, there's not a lot you can do, but we try and make it as safe as possible for those sort of circumstances.
Other than the electric paintwork, as we can see, these horse boxes are absolutely stunning. What else separates EQ apart from your competitors?
Well, customer service, I think that's really important. So we're open to take calls from 8 to 8 every single day of the year, including Christmas.
And, no one's taking you up on that.
No, they haven't actually, but you know, we would if they wanted to. So you never know if somebody's got a query on a horse box, and you know, people do need help from time to time. So we try and look to resolving problems rather than or queries rather than running away from them. Particularly when somebody gets a brand new horse box, they don't quite know how to work everything. So it's very good that even though we've given a good handover, people often want to query how to start the heating or something, and this often actually can be later in the evening, so because people arrive at shows late. They are designed to be non-faff, so you have a fixed bed so that you can leave everything up in situ. So for example, in my 26-ton horse box that's I think nearly 4 years old now, we've been all over Europe, and basically everything's kept on there except for the tack and the food and the horses. And before we go away, food delivery gets straight delivered to the lorry, and then and that goes straight on, and then the tack gets put on and the horses. So it makes the groom's life easy. people riding, grooms and drivers, etc., whoever's involved. I think as well our horse boxes are very bespoke and quite stylish, and they're very individual. And I think a lot of thought goes into the paint work and the guys that actually do the prepping for the paint and post paint. And a lot of our lorries have lots of levels to the paint. That's why whether it's a paint or if it's a wrap, there's a lot of depth to the actual lorry when you look at it, and they do appear to change colour quite a bit. And I think that's really important. You have a wonderful horse box and you want it to look good, but it's non-fuss as well. So you don't want to look at the expense of something that's actually practical and important into using the horse box in day-to-days and going away to shows. Yeah, that's right. And also, we tend to always stick with one colour, which as well, they get scratched, they get knocked. It makes it more economical for repair work if you ever want to do that as well. So there's normally a practicality to everything about EQ horse boxes. Finding the right blend. Yes. Which looking at the horse box behind us, definitely do that especially with the matchy on the colours. If anybody wants to add that they think something could be improved or they want their design a little bit different, we're very happy to work with that as well. But most people tend to go with our actual main design because it just works. And normally people decide just to maybe slightly change the colour of the living or choose the outside colour. If it's not fixed, don't break. Yeah. If it's not broken, don't fix it. So the boxes are ready to go generally for anyone that wants to look at getting one bespoke. It's the quality's the same throughout. Yes. Absolutely. So Candice, obviously we're here with the box you said that you use yourself, you've had for a few years now. Talk us through the design of this one. Okay, this is a Scania 26 tonne, and her design runs pretty much through all our horse boxes, whether it's 26, 18 or 12 tonne. And what we like to do is absolutely maximise the storage space, as you can see here. And one of the other things we do is insulate our locker doors. And that helps to keep the heat out of the living area or the horse area, or in the winter the heat in, which is very important. We always put power inside the lockers, so that if you want to run a fridge freezer or a washing machine, you've got that opportunity as well. So we're a bit thrown in today, but we've got hooks, all sorts put in there. We have a very good aluminium finish inside as well, which is strong as well. It's good to keep clean, etc. And we've just got more storage everywhere you can. There's storage, or there's water tanks underneath. So does the storage not impact anything on the horse box in terms of strength and anything? Is it all still just as secure as it would be if they wasn't there? Yes, absolutely. And some people don't like tack lockers at all in the horse area, which we don't have to put in. But one of my very, very first designs was a very slimline tack locker and sloping on the top, because I've had horses that jump up on those big square lockers, and it gets very scary when you've got a horse up and flaring its legs. So with our sloping topped slimline lockers, the horse's legs normally come down and they give up. They don't bother because it's they can't stay there. They can't stay there. But you also still get the room to move around the horse, and then you get that extra little bit of storage as well on the outside, which also, if you have deep lockers, you normally lose so much stuff in deep lockers, so it's practical yet again. So in fact, if I ever empty out one of my trucks, I can feel like half my photography studio, which is massive. So it just shows actually how much stuff you can put in. We're probably not quite the neatest yet at the moment, but I do call them plug and go, because you keep most of your stuff on, food delivered to the truck, tack on, horses on, and off you go. So these are all the slimline lockers. Then this one, you've got your slimline locker, and then underneath you've got what I call the underslung for your saddles. And we've actually got a doormat in here, so I will put the doormat out here. So here you've got your saddles, and we tend to use these saddle racks because it's quite good to have a bit of motion when you're putting the saddles in. If they're really fixed and strong, you don't have that movement, which when you're manipulating saddles around, you need to damage it. And you don't really think of those things until you've actually working and you're doing things. So I've been hands-on with everything. So over the years, the trucks have been developed.
Yeah.
Practicality. On our truck, this one, the 26 ton, but we can do it on the 18 ton truck as well. You can put a step and a groom's door. You can either have half a door like we've got here, or you can have a full length door. And that's really good if you want to, if you've got children, dogs, and you want to keep all your wet stuff here in the winter and not go straight into your living, or if you've got teenagers or a groom who wants their own private entrance and have an entrance to their bedroom from this there. So again, that's practicality, and you can have that. If you don't have that, you get an extra tack locker space.
So Candice, tell us a little bit more about the living of these boxes.
Well, I actually love the living. Not that I get to sit relaxed very often, but when you do, again, it's the attention to detail. Even the seating. I've been in the factory and sat on different foams, got different wadding, and measured the length of average legs, etc., to get them so they're comfortable, and they really are comfortable. And we use a very high quality leather, and even though a lot of our horse boxes have sort of a white leather in, they do wipe up clean, and as you can see, this is still like new, even though it's a few years old. And we have a very comfortable bed. We make it as spacious as possible up the top, with the skylight, which is really handy for blackout or to letting the air in places. Got air conditioning. You've got an electric, on this particular truck, you've got an electric oven, microwave and grill, and you've got a backup with gas cooking as well. Then you've got a very large big fridge freezer. You've got a bin under your sink, granite worktops, fantastic amplifier and stereo system, lots of drawer space, big sink for washing up. We can put dishwashers on. Some people want them, some people don't. There's so much storage. Even the drawers under here are huge. They go all the way back. So everything is very simple to keep tidy and clean away. Even our stores have storage inside. So this table will, with a lever, push down. You bring your cushions across, and then you've got another double bed. And there's another double bed above the bathroom. On this particular truck, you can access it from the horse area. And all the people that worked for me have always loved the space because it's private and it's quite big in there as well. Not only have we got air conditioning, we've got constant hot water and even underfloor water piped heating in this horse box, which I tell you, when you're doing winter shows, is absolutely fantastic. And my dog absolutely loves it too.
So Candice, obviously we now move on from the 26 tonne to the smallest box in the EQ range, 3.5 tonner. Tell us a little bit more about this box.
So the 3.5 tons, again, we like brightness for the horses and spaciousness. So you can feel here they're pretty
Very
high.
tall.
So the horses have got that room to feel. This one has just got shy of a ton payload. You really can't get any more than that without compromising on the quality and strength of the build. Mm-hmm. This one is what we call the professional, which has got stallion partitions. Doesn't mean you have to carry stallions, but you've got that option. And also because it's got a really good sliding mechanism, it's fantastic if you've got mare and foals, because you can end up with a big one space. So you can end up sliding this back, popping that one back there. So you've got one big room here. In an emergency, if ever you can't get your side ramp down, you can open up these doors very simply and the horse could go out back. Mm-hmm. You can feel on here it's pretty stable. They've got an aerodynamic front to them, so when you're driving down the motorway, the wind goes over, so they're much more stable on the road. You've got a good half ramp and then your top doors that close across. Again, we tend to put everything on that we think people need, rather than having add-ons. So if you order a box from us, we try and include everything, and then you haven't got surprises at the end with extra costs. And for example, on this one, you've got the head pads as well. You've got your horse fans, you've got your CCTV cameras. I mean, all those kind of things are just standard with our boxes.
no point overcomplicating it for the customer. Just get them what they need and get them on their way with a nice new box.
That's correct, yes. So we've got the 26 ton and the 18 tons, and we can build on both. Like this one's a 5 large stall. 26 ton we've got over there is a 6 large stall. But we also do what we call a luxury work truck, which can take 7-8 horses, and that will also have a side ramp. And then the compact living, but it's still very luxurious, and it will take can sleep 4 people with a little bathroom, and again everything that you need on it to make life easy and travel up to 8 horses. If you wanted even less living, we could build 9 as well. So it's really up to the customer.
So Candice, we're now in the 18 tonner of the EQ range, which is a similar size to the 26 ton. What would be the key differences between the two?
Mainly the 26 ton has a double rear axle for wheels, and it obviously can take more weight because it's a 26 ton as opposed to 18 ton.
Mm-hmm.
Space wise, you can actually get an 18 ton almost as long as a 26 ton,
Mm-hmm.
but normally they're about a metre and a half shorter. So the 26 ton would tend to carry 6 or 7 horses, or you could make it 8 if you want to make the living a bit smaller. Whereas an 18 ton, you're normally looking at 5 to 6 horses, or you can have a shorter wheelbase, which makes the overall 18 ton a bit shorter, and you could have a 4 large horse as well. So there's a variety of what you can do, but the same, pretty much everything's the same on an 18, 26 ton as in terms of spaciousness for the horse area and underfloor and the tack lockers and storage around the build. You know, today it's really hot.
Yeah.
We've come in here and it actually feels really cool, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's nice and cool.
Yeah. So we really insulate our horse boxes really well. So as I was saying before, it helps to keep the heat out in the summer, and in the winter the heat in. So we also put lots of horse fans. Again, they're nice, bright and spacious. We have very bright lighting. We have CCTV and automatic lights, red lights, so that at dark or through tunnels the camera can still pick up the horses in the back. We also have a really good one-piece rubber mat, but it's 18mm thick, and you can't normally get it wide enough in these trucks, so we get a special vulcanized join so that it makes it easier to wash out, and obviously because they're thicker they last longer. We've also got the very strong aluminium planked flooring with the steel crossbars which are close together, which helps for the strength, as well as a double frame and a steel frame for horses that might want to kick, etc. And we also make the boards at the back high so that tails don't rub the horses. Our partitions are pretty high as well so that the horses don't rub there. And we have very strong steel partitions. And this we can do, these are what we call H-style, which I've got a headboard here if you don't mind me showing you, which comes across, and a lot of people like these H-style, which you get the point here and here. And as you can see with our slimline tack locker, you've still got room to walk under the horses, and the sloping locker makes it feel more spacious, and the hay nets actually sit really nicely on the top here as well. So I feel that's a very good way, practical way of having storage on your truck, as well as having good space for your horses, because their feet tend to be quite a long way back here anyway, so they don't feel claustrophobic. And then you've got plenty of bright windows, bars which are close enough so they can't put their nose through and break the window. So all the little attention to detail there as well. And another really important thing is that the partitions can open wide out. So it's what I call flat pack back. So you can see here that they will all line back against the back of the truck. So when you put your first horse in, they've got room to come in without catching on a partition.
They're not taking up half the lorry space by poking out as they go along.
And I've heard of lots of accidents like that. So we try and design everything practically and as safely as possible for the horses.
So Candice, we're now here with the 12-ton part of the EQ range, in sort of in between the two, the large that we've already looked at, and the 3.5 tonner here. What in particular about this box is different?
Mainly the overall size of it, and the main layout is the same. We tend to build them so can put 4 big horses on them. And you still got a good size living on there with your pop out and a bathroom with a separate shower as well. So and then you've got all your good cooking facilities, heating, hot water, and plenty of underfloor storage as well. The beauty about a 12 ton is they're not much bigger in size to a 7.5 ton, but you don't have a payload issue with a 7.5 ton. If it's properly built, you probably can't really get more than a ton-ish, 1.2 maybe. So you're very limited. And then the horse box would probably be a lot shorter. So here you've actually got room for 4 horses, and can sleep 6 people as well. And the other thing is they have bigger wheels, so there's a lot more stability on the truck as well. So the horses travel better. And the height of the horse area as well is really spacious. So the horses travel well, and they've got the nice bright space that we offer with our horse boxes.
Cool. So it's a nice balance of a horse box that's plenty capable of taking multiple horses to a show, not just 1 or 2, but also still having sort of the luxury of the nice things with the practicality in size, i.e. not having to drive a humongous box. You're driving something just a little bit bigger than a 7.5 ton, which a lot of people will feel more comfortable with, I'd imagine, quite a lot of time.
Absolutely. And I've been around using one of these horse boxes, and I love them. They are a smaller version to the big one, but they are great, and they do exactly what you need them to do. So it is a very good size truck. They're super to drive. They're very easy, especially if you're somebody that's just starting up with your new HGV and you don't want something too big. It's a good way to go.
It's a good stepping stone before you get the bigger one.
And also these days it's much easier to get an HGV, so don't be put off by going out and doing your course to get it, because you get so much more value for your money by actually being able to drive an HGV horse box, and you get so much better space for your horses as well as yourself.